What is up? It's your boy Johnny SHREVE, IFBB Pro, Mr. Tell Like It Is. Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, doing a tier list. This one's a little special. We're doing a tier list on cardio exercises. I had to think about this one, how to really do this, because I can't do the it just doesn't work like that. Because cardio is such a thing that a lot of people can do different types of cardio, and depending on your goals, certain cardio machines and exercises will be more specific to that person's goals. So here's how I put it together to ranking the best cardio exercises to the worst. Now, number one, we're gonna base this around the cardio that we're talking about. All the exercises here are to burn fat. That is it. We're not looking at muscle endurance or doing anything else. We want to burn fat. That's why right here, fat burning. Zone 2 cardio, fat burning for said exercise. 2, it's gotta be sustainable, right? So we're looking at doing this between 30 minutes to an hour. Can you do said exercise, said cardio exercise for 30 minutes to an hour? Is that sustainable? 3, can have the least potential to burning muscle, right? Is that exercise, if you do this exercise for 30 minutes to an hour, is that gonna creep up and start maybe possibly burning muscle? And then in the end, it's gotta be accessible, right? It's gotta be something that it's fairly easy to do, right? It's probably in most of your gyms. You can, just go outside and go for a run. It's gotta be accessible. So that's how we're gonna do our ranking system. Let's get started. The aerosol bike is a good means of fat loss. For sure, in a short period of time, you can use this and just burn the most amount of fat you need. Now, when it comes to it being sustainable for 30 minutes to an hour, it's very hard for most people to get a good pace to be able to do this for 30 minutes to an hour. Now, when it comes to maybe possibly burning muscle, you're kind of in that class because there's a lot of muscle being used in terms of your legs. And when you're doing a lot of cardio with your legs, like on a bike, and you want to be more efficient, that means your legs got to work really hard. Eventually, cause your legs to have a massive pump, then you have lactic acid buildup. And if you're doing this for a long time, that's when you get some muscle breakdown. Now, when it comes to accessibility, not every gym has an aerosol bike. I know a lot of gyms have, tried to put it in there, but not many gyms have an aerosol bike that's there. And then again, when it comes to the likelihood of somebody actually doing that as their main source of cardio, not necessarily there. So this guy's gonna go actually into the 4, right? This thing is a ranking system of 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. All right, StairMaster. Now there's 2 different kinds of StairMasters. There's the StairMaster, or some people call it the stepper. And there's the stepper that has the paddle. We're talking this here is your StairMill, walking up the stairs. You're on there, you're walking, you're pressing, and you're going up the stairs, not really going anywhere, you're just walking up to nowhere. You're either walking nowhere, you're stepping up nowhere, you're pedaling nowhere, whatever. StairMaster is probably one of my actual go-tos. I love it. Now, when it comes to weight bearing, it's gonna give us a lot of fat burn in one sitting, 100%. It's sustainable because it's very low impact. We can do it for a long period of time. Mostly every gym has a StairMaster. Now, when it comes to the accessibility of somebody choosing this over another exercise, everyone has their favorites. Now, when it comes to StairMaster for being able to do the most amount of fat burn, yes, we also have to assume that you're not holding on the entire time either. So we're assuming we're doing all these exercises the right way. Now, you can hold on. Don't get me wrong. You can hold on. There's difference between holding the side and a little bit of bend in your elbows, or doing this and climbing up and you're just, you're not burning that many calories if you're holding on. If you're holding on to any exercise and bearing your weight on it, you are reducing a ton of calories. It's almost around 20-30% of calories you're not burning. So when it comes to the overall, this is gonna be number 2, because I gotta think of most people when it comes to this being a challenging piece of cardio equipment. It literally is. All right, now an outside jog. Now, outside jog for 30 minutes to an hour. Now, I've done outside jogs before, and I think for the most part, guys, it's just really understanding how to run, which makes it very difficult for me to put this at the top. It is the perfect person who's a runner or in a run club or jog club or whatever. 100%, this is a great means of cardio for them. Right now, let me make things very clear before I continue to move on. If you're a cyclist, right? You are a cyclist. You go and you ride bikes. That is your thing for cardio. If you're a jogger, then that is your thing for cardio. If you are a boxer and that is the thing for your cardio, by all means, those are great things to do. And for those people who specifically do them, continue to do it. But for the person that's watching this video, I'm assuming that most people are watching this and man, I need to find out what cardio is good for me. And when it comes down to it, when I do my consults or Q&As, the biggest thing that's being missed in everyone's journey is the amount of cardio they're doing or not doing, and then the lack of knowledge when it comes to picking said cardio. So back to jogging. Jogging is one of those things that, like for me, when I went out, give you my personal anecdote here, I was like, yo, man, I'm a jog. And I was like, you know, I got some shoes. I got, you know, I went and got a Nike shirt or whatever. I was like, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna go jog. Picked my route and I started jogging. And by about 100 meters, my legs were tired. I couldn't move. I was like, oh my God. And then it turned into just like this really kind of fast walk. I started to learn how to actually jog, having a proper pace and carrying that pace. And after I got the hang of it, actually absolutely amazing. The only problem when it comes down to it, a lot of things play a factor in that. Everybody can go jog, yes, but again, weather can definitely be a problem. I live in an area where once it gets cold, ain't no one trying to go outside. And guess what? The sidewalks are slippery from ice. Two, when it comes down to it, most people, it's hard for people to learn how to actually jog. When it comes to the most amount of fat loss you can do, for sure, if you are a jogger, you can 100% dominate calories and fat loss when you're jogging. But if you're someone just kind of getting into it, it's gonna be a very hard thing for you to start doing. So for me, jogging is gonna be like one of those things like at the bottom here. All right, now we got the stepper. This one, we're talking about the paddle one. Same basically as a StairMaster, but instead of stepping up, you're in one spot and your feet are going up and down. Now, very low impact because you're not really stepping to each stair, so it's keeping it relatively low impact. Now, is this sustainable to do for 30 minutes to an hour? Most people can do this for 30 minutes to an hour. It's not like it's the StairMaster where it really kicks the crap out of you that way, but it's still fairly challenging. Now, when it comes to overall fat loss in that period of time, of course you can. Now, if you literally just did all these exercises and were able to sustain about 150 watts per the 30 minutes or hour, you would burn a fairly good amount of calories. Now, you can literally put it this way. Here's a little equation for you. It's what I use all the time when it comes to my fat loss clients. 3.6 represents the hour times wattage will give you the estimated amount of calories or watts burned within that period of time. So if you do 3.6 times 150 watts, that's around like 540 calories guarantee from said exercise. Right now, when it comes to wattage, watt is basically the energy you're putting out, the force that you're putting out when you're doing cardio. Certain machines are harder to sustain 150 watts. So when it comes to sustaining that on a stepper, fairly simple to do. So we're gonna put this guy up here with number 2. Now here's something to do to actually like calculate your own zone 2, where your zone 2 heart rate should be. 220 minus your age will give you your max heart rate. Take your max heart rate and you times that by 0.5 or 0.6 or 0.7, between that range, and they'll give you a good range of zone 2 cardio, fat loss, fat burn, heart rate. So very simple, copy that right there, put that into your phone, you can have that as your cheat sheet. All right, next exercise, we have the rower. The rower is one of those things that it's like, can you do this for 30 minutes to an hour? Now, when it comes to it, if you're a rower, I live literally down from a rowing club, and I actually do love getting on the Concept 2 and rowing myself, and I can sustain about 20 minutes. You burn a ton of calories there, but again, it's something that is very hard to do. To be able to sustain for 30 minutes to an hour, not necessarily. If you want to burn a bunch of calories in a short period of time, and I'll do a video on that as well too, that might be actually part 2. The rower is great, it's still a little impact, but it's not something that everybody can just jump on and do. You're basically doing a deadlift and a row at the same time. So it is a good exercise to do, but you can get into that area of a little bit of fat, a little bit of muscle burning if you're not careful in this. So when it comes to this is one of the exercises that gets put right there with the aerosol bike and jogging outside. All right, boxing. Again, I talked to you guys before this. If you're a boxer and you know how to box, people who know how to box will burn more calories boxing. People who know how to ride a bike, which is like, I know how to ride a bike, probably ride a bike, will burn more calories. Same with jogging. When you're, say, a newbie and you're just going, I'm gonna go to and try and burn some fat by doing this boxing class. It's a legit boxing class. And you go in there and you're doing all the combos they're saying to do. Number one, starting off learning combos, you're like, you're messing up the combos and whatnot. But then again, when it comes to preserving energy and proper breathing, you're not gonna be able to sustain like someone who's actually trained. So they'll be able to go and do maybe 2 to 5 to 10 minutes straight of bag work, where you might start gassing out in 30 seconds and have to take more breaks. So when it comes to boxing or bag work, for someone to burn fat and being sustainable for 30 minutes to an hour and not burning muscle and being accessible, it's just very, very hard to do. So that's gonna go all the way down here to the 5. All right, skipping. Skipping is one of those things too. It's like, guess what, man? You gotta be good at skipping. And as I'm pretty good at skipping, but like literally, even when I'm skipping, then I freaking mess the damn rope up and I do it again. Again, if you're a skipper, great thing to do, great thing to use, right? Keep your heart rate up in that zone 2 cardio. You can do. But when it comes to can everybody kind of just get a skip rope and learn how to skip and be effective and efficient at skipping? Not everybody can. Otherwise, you'd see everybody skipping. If you want to just burn fat really quick in a shorter period of time and you really want to get the heart rate up quick, yeah, great to do. But this is gonna be down to number 4, sprinting. Well, I mean, like, it's just be serious, guys. Like, sprinting is just gonna burn muscle, right? It is, right? And it's not sustainable. You cannot sprint for 30 minutes. You can sprint for 10 seconds. You can do intervals and sprint. You can't sprint for 30 minutes to an hour. You know, when it comes to like actual fundamentals of running properly, it's just one of those things that's like, guys, is like, unfortunately, it's not happening. I'm pretty sure you guys watch this video right now and you're like, Johnny, yeah. All right, we have our cycling. Proper cycling for fat loss. Again, if you're a cyclist, absolutely amazing to do. You will 100% burn fat and be efficient and effective at burning fat. The problem when it comes to cycling is, number 1, for the person who's just going in and wants to burn fat. Number 1, it's not weight bearing. What does that mean? Weight bearing means that the entire body is being used. When it comes to cycling, you're only sitting down and you're pedaling with your legs. Yeah, you're using your upper body, but you're mainly using your legs, quads, and hamstrings. You know, when it comes to being sustainable to keep a zone 2 cardio to burn fat, that means you have to be efficient at keeping your wattage up at a rate that is going to create a good amount of fat loss, and that's sustainable for 30 minutes to an hour. And most people don't have it in them. So these are one of those things that are definitely gonna burn muscle. 2, it's not that easy for everyone to do, to be able to be efficient at it, to burn the most amount of calories you can within 30 minutes to an hour. Now, for those who are cyclists, again, this is your tool, that's your tool. Again, cycling is gonna be one of those things that are gonna be like number 3. All right, now we got walking on a treadmill. Now we're talking about like walking on a treadmill, 15-degree incline, right? The more you incline, the more percentage of calories you'll burn, basically. So like every incline is a percent more of intensity. When it comes to fat loss and cardio, I think that the treadmill is like king. It's sustainable. You're walking indoors, right? It's like, it's walking. It makes up for where walking outside doesn't, right? When you're walking outside, here's the problem with walking outside. Are you able to sustain the speed to keep your heart rate in zone 2 cardio? Is your route, is it on an incline? Is it on a decline? We don't know. So when it comes to the treadmill, we can control the time on mostly all these pieces here. We can control the time, we can control the intensity. It's indoors, it's accessible for everybody. It's definitely sustainable for 30 minutes to an hour. All gyms, I'm pretty sure every single gym has at least one treadmill. This guy's going up to number 1. All right, trail walking. I thought I'd put that out there. I think trail walking is something that is definitely good to put out there. Now, trail walking is a great way to burn fat. Here's the reason. Number 1, when it comes to like just going outside for a walk, you know, if you're walking down the street here and there, like my street has a flat, then a massive decline, and then a flat again, and then you walk back up, there's a massive incline, a flat, another incline. But when you're actually doing like, say, trail walk, if you're actually going hiking, sorry, we're talking about hiking. Is that something that you can do all the time? If you're in a place like California where you have all these nice trails and it's sunny all the daggone time, heck yeah. But if you're like someone like myself, where you have seasons that keep you indoors, we don't have that. So it's not accessible. You can't do it all the time, obviously. Is it sustainable to do 30 minutes to an hour? Of course it is, because like if you're gonna pick a trail, you're probably picking a trail that's somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour to do. It just, unfortunately, you can't do it all the time. As good as trail walking is, that's gonna be like one of those like, you know, down number 4. All right, Jacob's ladder. Here's the reason why this thing's gonna go all the way down to 5, right? Number 1, not every gym has a Jacob's ladder. 2, when it comes to doing 30 minutes to an hour of Jacob's ladder, good luck. Good luck. Jacob ladder is the hardest thing ever. I don't say the hardest thing ever, but it's not accessible. It's a great thing to have as a feature in your gym to be like, look guys, we have that thing. But for like burning fat sustainability and all that stuff, that's a 5. That's a, sorry man, it's like, We got the Recumbent Bike next. Here's where the Recumbent Bike sucks. And it's, look, it's great when you have, I shouldn't say it sucks. I have clients who are older, who this machine works really well for them. Now, when it comes to my older clients that need to use a recumbent bike, their goals aren't fat loss. Their goals are just making sure their cardiovascular health is good. So when it comes to like burning fat between 30 minutes to an hour, you're literally in a recliner, moving your legs. You're burning very minimal amount of fat. Yeah, it's sustainable for 30 minutes to an hour. Of course it is, but it's not gonna burn the most amount of fat either. So this is gonna be one of those that are gonna be like all the way down here. Definitely not where the damn Jacob's ladder is, but again, you can definitely burn some fat, but it's just not gonna be the best tool to do so. Mountain biking. Mountain biking is sweet, man, right? Doing some jumps and stuff and go for nice trails. Mountain biking is like hiking with a bike. It's awesome. It's great. It's just not sustainable, right? Of course you can do for like, I've mountain biked for 30 minutes to an hour. It's freaking awesome, exciting, fun, all that stuff, but not everybody has a mountain bike. Not everybody has the trails to go and do it. When it comes to muscle loss, a lot of potential that's there. Why? Because you're doing a lot of pedaling with the legs. When only one muscle group is doing a lot of the work and has to make up for the rest of the body, that's when lactic acid builds up. And that's fine if lactic acid builds up and your goal is to build muscle and you get off and eat. But if you're doing 30 minutes to an hour and you got lactic acid build up in your legs and you keep going, you're losing muscle. So as cool as it would be to do some, mountain biking, is going down to number 5. All right, now this is the Air Assault Runner, right? Air Assault Runner. You can run on it, you can run on it, you can jog on it, you can walk on it, right? Give you the same everything as a treadmill. The only thing with the Air Runner is this. You have to gauge how fast it goes. So when you're on a treadmill, you can plop 15 incline, boom, it inclines. You know, 1.2 or 2.5 or whatever speed, boop, 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 and you sit there for 30 minutes to an hour and you get it done. When it comes to air assault, you have to control all of that. Sustaining 30 minutes to an hour on an air assault, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna maybe jog a little bit, then you're gonna slow down a lot, and you're gonna slow down, and you might find yourself walking a lot slower than you would if you're actually on a treadmill. Now, when it comes to accessibility, not every gym has an air runner. So, air assault guy, you're going over here with that recumbent bike. Steps. Let me explain to you why steps is not the best way to gauge fat loss. And a lot of people use steps for bodybuilding to lose fat. I've had clients who came from other coaches who were like, my coach told me this is how many steps I gotta do to burn fat. And I'm like, no. Steps is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Meaning, your heart rate isn't going to anything of fat burning. Your heart rate is basic. Your steps include this. Here's what your steps includes. I stood up and I walked around, and that's what your steps are. That's why most people, when they use steps to burn fat when they're competing, they don't burn enough fat. It's just not enough, right? Steps are good to have as like your base. Here's your go-to, and I always keep in mind when it comes to steps when I have athletes that come in, and steps is something that they are doing. I'm not gonna be like, stop doing steps. I'm like, yo, keep your steps up. But guess what? When I prescribe how much the cardio you're gonna do, I'm gonna take into consideration your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is fairly high because you're doing a lot of steps. So when it comes to just stepping away, yes, everyone can do it. You can definitely do it for 30 minutes to an hour easily. You're definitely not gonna burn any muscle, but you're just not gonna burn as much fat as you think. Holding your body up and walking around isn't something new to your body. It's something your body's been doing forever. Unfortunately, steps is going down here. Walking your dog. Walking your dog is gonna, I gotta put that in there. I get that all the time, man. How much cardio are you doing? Well, man, I walk my dog. It's like, all right, man, that's just not gonna cut it, right? Walk your dog is not gonna cut it. Walk your dog is good to do. That's a great means of extra exercise. But if I'm trying to maximize fat loss in a certain period of time, walking my dog just isn't gonna do it. Now, if that's the only thing you can do, which I doubt it is, fine. Walk your dog goes with steps. All the way down with steps. We got Jiu-Jitsu. Gotta put it in there, because that's something I do. I gotta put it in there. It's like Jiu-Jitsu is like boxing. You can burn a lot of calories in Jiu-Jitsu. Yes, you can, 100%. We do like 3-minute rounds, 3 to 6 minute rounds, and then like 1 to 2 minute rest in between. And like I can tell you right now, like it is I leave there drenched. When it comes to sweating isn't a means of like, hey, I'm sweating, that means I'm burning a lot of calories. It just means your body's doing a good job of cooling itself off. Why do I have to cool itself off so much? It's because I'm rolling around and my heart rate is like jacked right up. It is hard. But unfortunately, you can't do it all the time. Not everybody can do jiu-jitsu. You can't do it for an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Good luck. So this guy's gonna go down there in the 5 category with boxing. Now swimming. Here's another swimming thing, right? Swimming is great, low impact. You could definitely do it for 30 minutes to an hour. If you're a swimmer, right? Not everybody can swim. I can swim, shut up y'all. I can see the jokes already. I can swim real good, damn it. Can you do 30 minutes to an hour? Of course you can. Can you burn muscle? Not likely, if you're doing it properly. Can everybody do it? No, because everybody can't swim. Not everybody can go to a pool. Yeah, as good as it is as a means of burning fat, it's just something that just has to be like literally like, it's gonna be like way at the bottom. And there it is, guys. There's my list. There is my list. Now I'm gonna do another list based on like, you know, the most amount of fat you can burn within the shortest period of time. What will be the best out of these? I'll do that in the next video for sure. Give me some of your input. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the list, what you think about this entire video itself, and how much more you want to do videos like this. Anyway, guys, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep jiu-jitsu. Peace.